The Bucs season on the line. The team prepares to take on the Miami Heat, and tonight we'll share a preview of the game.
The scammer is trying to get your personal information and money.
Plus, we've got you covered on everything you should know about a scam threatening the public in Dane County right now. You're watching News 3 Now at 5. Breaking in the last few minutes, Prairie police are asking the public to avoid the area of Chandler Lane because of police activity. Take a look at this video from our team that got to the scene just moments ago. Police aren't saying why they're asking people to avoid this area, but our crew on the scene says the street was blocked off until just a minute or two ago. Head to channel3000.com as we learn more. Meanwhile, in Milwaukee, it's a make or break game for the Milwaukee Bucks, facing off Game 5 against the Miami Heat after falling to a 3-1 deficit in the series. Our Andrew Banstra joins us now. He is live outside Fiserv Forum. Andrew?
Yeah, Eric, not quite as many fans as we may have anticipated at this point in the night. About 3.5 hours from the game, so still plenty of time for fans to get into the stadium at this point and get into the Deer District so they can come and enjoy a big-time Game 5 tonight. Like you said, the Bucks trailing the Miami Heat 3-1 in the series, coming off a Jimmy Butler masterpiece where he had 56 points in Game 4. Giannis hopefully gets back to his normal self tonight. A little bit of bumps in the road coming back from his injury in Game 4, but tonight it's now or never if the Bucks want to continue their championship hopes and their first fully healthy season or championship run since their last win in 2021. It's got to happen tonight. Now the Bucks are 11.5-point favorites for tonight's game. If they're able to get Game 5, the series would go back to Miami before potentially a Game 7 right back here at Fiserv Forum on Sunday. We'll get you that and some fan reaction at 6 o'clock. We'll also talk to you at 10. But for now in Milwaukee, Andrew Banstra, News 3 Now.
All right, Andrew, and of course it's official. Aaron Rodgers, now a New York Jet. He spoke today about that trade, and sports director Zach Hanley joins us now with the details.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers' call today, a surreal one. For 18 years, you know, he's been a Packer. Now he's officially a Jet. The franchise introduced the quarterback this afternoon. Along with the new team, Rodgers is no longer number 12. He'll go back to his college days and wear number 8. And as far as being a Jet and seeing the bright lights in the big stage of New York, well, he couldn't be more excited.
I've been in Green Bay for 18 years. That's a long time in a small town, and it's been great. I grew up in a small town. I think when you grow up in a tiny little town in Northern California, you dream about being in a big city. You dream about living in a big city and, having places to go eat and interesting things to do. And obviously with the city being 40 minutes away, you got a lot of that stuff. But I'm excited about the opportunity.
Rodgers also said he plans on attending most of the Jets' off-season workout program to build chemistry with his new teammates and get familiar with his new surroundings. A little different off-season plan than when he did the past couple seasons in Green Bay, Eric.
All right, apparently more restaurants in New York. Also more traffic. Enjoy it, Aaron. All right, Zach, thank you. We'll hear from Aaron Rodgers and General Manager Brian Gutekunst by downloading our News 3 Now app. You'll also find more on the trade, of course, at channel3000.com. We'll take a look at this video. This is what the streets of Fountain City in western Wisconsin look like right now. That city sits north of La Crosse, just one of many communities there along the Mississippi River that are dealing with flooding. You can see Highway 35 there in the city completely blocked off now. Many living in the area have evacuated. Others do continue to stack sandbags around their homes and businesses. The water has risen so much that the flood barrier designed to keep the water off the road simply is not working.
Detouring traffic has been a big deal. This road is heaved up now and the water's just pouring through it. So obviously trucks are having to go away around town, and the county's fighting north and south of town to keep it from crossing the highway right now. And we're fighting to keep this open so people can at least get through town.
Officials say the river has risen so much because of a huge snowpack in northern Minnesota. It began quickly melting last week because of rising temperatures. And Julian Searide is out of the weather patio now with more on that flooding risk. Julian?
That's right. And some of that flooding, even for parts of Wisconsin, like La Crosse area that has really been impacted of it, is because we've seen just such a warm start to the first half of April. Now, mind you, it's been cool for the last several days for us throughout much of April, but we did see temperatures that were in the 80s and 70-degree margin. And folks, that has also really been, after that snowstorm that we saw at the beginning of April, has melted a lot of that snow pack on itself. And on top of it, we have had events where we've seen heavy rainfall through those areas as well, which is why we've seen flood levels that have been around 16, 18 feet from Wabasha and even towards Trimpelow, which is, if that number is a little big for you, they are actually registering their numbers between sea level. So as of right now, we're looking at 651 feet in terms of sea level, but all the cresting has even started to begin for the western side of those northern gauges as of right now. And then as we get into Friday, we're going to be looking at areas just mainly to the southwest to begin to crest as well. But this is going to be an issue for the next 2 to 3 weeks, and any additional rainfall or precipitation that we get is going to not even help that situation. So it's one thing we're going to have to be mindful of over the next several days. But right here in Madison, here's how things are panning out for us. Not too bad of a day. 50-degree temperatures, saw plenty of sun, though we also had a share of some cloud cover as well. Temperatures will fall into the 40s, but it's going to be a wonderful night to take the dog out or even just play in the park if you get the kiddos out for the afternoon and evening hours. We are looking for that trend of the 60s to come by Thursday and Friday. So definitely enjoy it because dry and cool weather is going to stick around for us until we get to this weekend, where we are going to be watching for a system to be bringing in some shower activity from our Saturday, which will impact those who are going to be running in the crazy legs or even just watching as a spectator. And then Sunday, we have an opportunity to see more of those showers as well. We'll be breaking down the timing and the impacts in just a few moments. Until then, back to you, Eric.
Julian, thank you. Her confirmation was thrown into controversy. Former county board supervisor, current state representative Sheila Stubbs was Dane County Executive Joe Parisi's choice to lead the Health Services Department. Now there are questions, as political reporter Will Keneally explains. Will?
Eric, it was comments made during an event at her church that put her confirmation up in the air. During the event, she indicated that she would stay on in the assembly while also leading the county's Human Services Department, Dane County's largest agency. That caused some concerns from county board members who are in charge of her confirmation, as well as her comments that county board members need to be shooken up for suggesting that she should resign. Dane County Executive Joe Parisi says, though, that he's heard from Stubbs that she will resign the assembly if confirmed.
First, just to set the record straight, Representative Stubbs will submit her letter of resignation to the State Assembly as soon as her appointment as the new Human Services Director is approved, period.
The county board chair referred Stubbs' confirmation to a county board committee last week, and it will work through the committee before going to the full board for a vote. Now, we reached out multiple times to Stubbs' assembly office for comment and to confirm that she will resign if approved by the county board. We've not heard back. And we'll have more reaction from the county board members coming up tonight at 6.
Will, thank you. New data released by the Wisconsin Department of Workforce Development shows the Madison area has one of the lowest unemployment rates in the state. The Madison metro area's unemployment rate just 1.7% last month. That's 0.2% lower than February, 0.6% lower than a year ago. Preliminary data also shows the city of Madison is even lower at 1.5%. Adams County in central Wisconsin has the highest unemployment rate at 5.4%. Madison cab companies are getting $250,000 in grants to purchase accessible taxi cabs later this year. Accessible cabs cost between $50 and $60 grand each. The cab companies who get those grants would own the vehicles, but the city would maintain a lien on them so the city could reclaim them if the cab companies stop using them. The cabs would give an additional mode of transportation for those who use wheelchairs.
A lot of rideshare companies are not required because of their use of independent contractors to provide the same accessibility standards that taxi companies who are licensed in Madison are. So this is a way to also meet that gap in transportation services.
Now, Madison currently has 2 cab companies, Madison Taxi and Union Cab. Right now, Union Cab has been the only company providing accessible taxi service, and their accessible vehicles are nearing the end of their useful lives. During a meeting today, President Biden and South Korea's president reached an agreement to address North Korean nuclear threats. That move is in response to North Korea's increased ballistic missile testing. Under the agreement, it's called the Washington Declaration. The U.S. and South Korea would coordinate in response to any nuclear attack. The U.S. will also dock nuclear-armed submarines in South Korea for the first time since the 1980s, a move to discourage South Korea from restarting its own nuclear program.
The alliance formed in war and has flourished in peace. Seemingly every day, we've launched new areas of cooperation on cyber, strategic technologies, space, democracy.
The 2 leaders also discussed a range of other topics, including the war in Ukraine and economic cooperation between the allies. Now to Montana, where the legislature became a battleground over transgender rights, with lawmakers holding a closely watched vote concerning one of their colleagues. Michael George explains.
The nation's highly charged debate over transgender rights exploded into view in Montana. House lawmakers voted to ban Zoe Zephyr from the floor after an impassioned debate.
The representative from House District number 100 clearly violated the rules, collective rights, safety, dignity, integrity, and decorum of the House of Representatives.
So I think that we need to just put this behind us, let her represent the people that she represents.
The state's first openly transgender lawmaker, Zephyr, ignited a firestorm last week when she said her colleagues would have blood on their hands if they banned gender-affirming medical care. Saying her remarks were inappropriate, Republican leaders barred Zephyr from House debates until she apologizes.
No representative is above our House rules.
While Zephyr raised her microphone in the air, protesters packed the House gallery Monday, followed by police in riot gear. Before the vote, Zephyr said she stands by her words.
When you take away the health care that people need to live joyous, fulfilling lives, when you make it so they can't access that health care, you leave them in very dire conditions.
Montana voters watched the controversy unfold, many wondering what it would say about their state.
I do know that she's been pigeonholed and wrongfully silenced, and it just feels very unconstitutional.
Zephyr will still be allowed to vote on bills remotely. The Democrat says she will not be silenced and will continue to stand up for her community. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
And just next door to Montana, North Dakota is embroiled in its own transgender controversy. The Republican governor signed a bill limiting access to bathrooms, locker rooms, shower rooms for transgender kids and adults. Meanwhile, a manhunt continues in Mississippi for 3 of 4 escaped inmates. That's the video you were just seeing there. The men were first reported missing on Sunday in Hinds County, Mississippi. Police caught up with the escapees at a house where gunfire ensued. At least one person was killed in that house, but officers have not confirmed if it was one of those fugitives. The men are also linked to the death of one man and a string of car thefts after their escape. And we have an update on that breaking news from Sun Prairie at the top of the show. The incident has now been cleared. That area of Chandler Lane is now back open. We'll have more details on that story next hour on News 3 Now at 6. And just ahead at 5, Julian returns a complete look at our first warn weather, plus our call for action team with a new scam to warn you about what to watch out for after the break. And more red numbers for the Dow as it falls some 229 points in trading today. The NASDAQ up 55, the S&P 500 losing more than 15. We'll be right back.
Furniture and Appliance Mart is hosting a massive appliance blowout. Dishwashers start at $11 a month. Refrigerators start at $12 a month. And washer and dryer pairs start at $18 a month. Plus 72 months special financing at Furniture and Appliance Mart inside Ashley.
Join the Circle of Life at the Lion King. Experience the world's #1 musical. Don't miss your chance to see The Lion King, one of the most awe-inspiring productions ever brought to life on stage.
Coming to Overture Center May 11th through 28th. Tickets on sale now at overture.org.
At Revamp, we transform your old beat-up concrete from this to this in one day. We grind down the concrete to open up the pores for a perfect bond. Then we repair all cracks and apply our base coat and chip and seal it with our polyaspartic top coat that will never chip, peel, or discolor. On top of all that, our coatings are ridiculously easy to clean and covered by our exclusive lifetime warranty. And right now, we're running our 60-60-60 sale. So when you purchase your new concrete coating from any of our Revamp brands, you get a $60 Visa gift card, plus either 60% off the installation or 60-month no-interest financing. And when you call during this program, you'll also get up to 10 carbon fiber concrete stitches free, which help reinforce cracks and stop them from spreading. A $350 value for free.
South Central Wisconsin homeowners, pick up the phone. Call 1-800-886-8411. That's 1-800-886-8411.
This is how legends are made. Chevy Silverado and new Silverado HD. Choose your own path with the #1 best-selling retail full-size pickup and see where it takes you. Find new roads. It's Chevy truck season. Get 0% financing plus make no monthly payments for 90 days on all 2023 Silverado 1500 pickups. Or current Chevy owners get $3,750 total cash allowance on all 2023 Silverado pickups with a turbo high-output engine. Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in Wisconsin.
Ashley is hosting a massive inventory blowout sale. Get guaranteed lowest prices on furniture and mattresses and save even more on clearance items. Plus, low monthly payments with no money down and free delivery in 3 days or less. Only at Ashley.
The national emergency declaration for COVID-19 is ending after 3 long years. How DHS programs implemented during the pandemic could change moving forward.
And students are dropping out of college at an alarming rate. We examine what's behind this trend tonight at 6.
Heavy rain can lead to dangerous flooding. If you come across moving floodwater when you're driving, bicycling, or on foot, turn around, don't drown. It really could save your life. Download the First Warn weather app to stay safe and informed.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Our call for action team is digging into a scam the Dane County Sheriff's Office is warning you about, a kind of scam over the phone that is common, according to the Department of Consumer Protection. Our Catherine Merck has the details on this caller's demands to avoid and how this contributes to the data about these kinds of scams. Catherine?
We have a team here at News 3 Now dedicated to helping people who experience a scam. But in this case, there are things you can do to stop them and not be part of the numbers I looked into.
At times, these people can sound very convincing.
The Dane County Sheriff's Office says a phone scam could target you next. This comes after a Madison woman was contacted Monday by a man who demanded $4,000 to get her out of an arrest warrant.
This is something that we would never do, and we would never ask somebody.
The Sheriff's Office and State Department of Trade and Consumer Protection say there are ways to point out a scam. Callers will try to get your personal information, ask for gift cards, and threaten to get what they want.
Fortunately, we see this scam on a fairly regular basis.
The scammer is trying to get your personal information and money.
The state says in 2022, they got more than 1,600 complaints about telemarketing scams. That's 90% of the calls coming from scammers specifically. Though that's a little bit different than this targeted call, these scammers still have the same goals.
Scammers are using technology to misrepresent that caller ID, put a story together to impersonate law enforcement, government entity, a well-known store.
While it might seem difficult to fall for, these officials are urging people to be aware, as it could be you next.
Verify before you take any action.
Share the information as much as possible and help us get the word out there that this is happening so that nobody else becomes a victim.
The Sheriff's Office wants people who get a phone call like this one to hang up and report the call to police. The office says this particular case is now being looked into by the Madison Police Department.
All right, Catherine, thank you. As trees and flowers start to bloom for people with allergies, the start to spring and the roller coaster forecast can also bring some pretty miserable symptoms. If you start sneezing, have a runny nose, itchy eyes when the pollen counts rise, there are some ways to get some relief. We spoke to SSM Health allergist Dr. Julia Thorson.
I usually recommend allergy medications if you're having symptoms that are bothersome to you. So you don't have to have super severe symptoms to benefit from medications. That being said, if you can avoid the allergens themselves, that's always the first line.
And they say if you'd like to reduce the pollen count in your home, taking off your shoes and clothes you wore outside will prevent tracking some pollen into your home. Well, let's get a look at your first warn forecast. Julian Seawright has your forecast. Julian, it was chilly this morning.
It was chilly this morning. The good news is, though, it's only going to be for a couple more days where we're going to be back into those 60s. But before we get there, we're going to talk about the flooding. Now, the flooding issues that are really starting to impact, again, the Mississippi River. So the western side and the edge of Wisconsin, we're still looking at flood levels that are quite significant and major flooding that could be into the top 5 of cresting for these areas and throughout much of the Mississippi River in itself. Now, this is going to be looking to last between the next 2 or 3 weeks, and this is more of the southern side. So this is going to be impacting areas like Iowa and Dubuque, going into Lansing, Iowa as well. And you can take a look at how high that these levels are currently. Flooding in itself is only around 16 feet, and we're looking at 22 feet currently for Dubuque, and the crest in itself around 23 and a half, a little bit over that mark of feet of water in itself is what we're going to be watching for over the next several days. So even going into Friday is when we're expecting for that crest to really start to pick up. And we do have some more rain that's on the way, which is not going to be helping that situation at all. Now, it's not looking to be too much rainfall. We are going to be seeing a couple of showers beginning into our Saturday morning. So this will start to impact those who are going to Crazy Legs heading into our Saturday morning and throughout the course of the event. We do have some periodic breaks, but we are looking for a resurgence of that rainfall coming into into our Sunday. Now, Saturday is not going to be as cool as it will be for our Sunday, as temperatures fall into the lower 40s, mid-40s once again for us here in southern Wisconsin. But again, here's a breakdown of our Crazy Legs run. Throughout much of the event from 8 to noon, we're still looking at pretty cool to chilly conditions, but the rain itself, light showers is really what's going to be expected, so just make sure you have your rain gear and you're prepared to be in some more chilly weather. Now let's talk about tonight. 36 degrees, so it's not going to be as cold as it was last night. We were below freezing. We're looking at improvements tonight and tomorrow even more so. Everyone pretty much gets a 60 for tomorrow. Sunshine, middle 60s for Madison, 63 for Platteville, and around 65 degrees for Janesville. So it's definitely going to be a day to really enjoy the outdoors and outside, because we haven't really had a whole lot of 60s in our forecast over the last several days. Planning out the rest of tonight, it's going to be a quiet one. Temperatures will fall into the lower 30s. And then as we get into tomorrow morning, 40s. As those winds coming in from the south, we're looking at temperatures to be rather nice once we get into the lunchtime hour. So that means we could enjoy being outside for once and not have to have that light jacket. Getting into our Thursday evening, not looking at any issues, and it's going to be very similar heading into our Friday, except for a couple degrees warmer to start the day. Lunchtime, though, already into the 60s, and then as we get into the rest of our day, might see a couple of showers starting to develop to the western side, but overall, things are going to be rather nice. Quick look at our 10-day forecast, 60s through Thursday and Friday. Enjoy it because it is brief. Heading into the weekend, we're going to be cooling down and staying cool until next week, where we do have 60s coming, but it's going to take a while to get there once we get into the middle part of the week. Quick look at our traffic as of right now. Things are pretty much rather smooth as we're getting into our rush hour along the Beltline and even for Highway 151. Now taking a closer look over towards the interstate, well, things are still rather smooth as we are continuing throughout the rest of the 5 p.m. hour. That's going to do it for weather and traffic. Over to you, Eric.
All right, Julian, thank you. Coming up, airline passenger complaints continue to skyrocket. What experts recommend doing to avoid issues. Next at 5.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
It's time to march into deer season. Get your John Deere 1025R with a 120R loader for just $195 per month. Get a John Deere now and
power up at Sloan's.
Think Sloan's first.
It's Blaine's Farm and Fleet of Baraboo's grand reopening event this Thursday through Saturday. Join us for huge store-wide savings in every department. Enter daily for your chance to win over $10,000 worth of gift cards and prizes. Test a variety of new Milwaukee and DeWalt power tools. And catch daily on-site demos from experts in pet, ag, automotive, and more. Don't miss Blaine's Farm and Fleet of Baraboo's grand reopening event starting this Thursday.
Find value at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
There are so many things we take for granted, and along with them, sometimes we take the people who depend on them for granted too. How can they survive with record increases in their basic cost of living, and through no fault of their own, they're being left behind? If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our energy and water providers are working together to keep you safely in your home. You may not ask for it, but we're here to help.
Leisure Concepts has your new hot tub in stock and ready for immediate delivery. Steel and composite construction and the perimeter installation is so quiet. We'll deliver everything you need to easily keep your hot tub crystal clear, including knowledge. That neck-deep hot water massage feels amazing every day of the year. You'll never get tired of it. Get to Leisure Concepts and see almost 70 hot tubs that are ready for immediate delivery to your backyard.
Our phones keep us constantly connected.
Please switch to airplane mode.
But what if they had a mode to help us actually connect? Introducing Us Mode, a mode that makes our phones less distracting, so we can focus on quality time. So the notifications we get are the ones that matter. So we're never distracted from what's most important. Visit U.S. Cellular in-store or online to set up Us Mode for free, even if you're not a customer. U.S. Cellular, built for us.
Spring into action and save on stressless seating at the Century House.
Now get $400 off all classic power recliners, signature-based recliners and ottomans, and cross-based recliners and ottomans. And get $400 off most sofas and love seats. Imagine how much you can save building your dream sectional. Shop the Century House, 3420 University Avenue in Madison.
Run with Sloan's on a John Deere X350, built for taking it easy. Get yours for $57 per month with 4.9% for 60 months and nothing down. Get a John Deere now and
power up at Sloan's.
Think Sloan's first.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
This week is National Park Week, with teams of volunteers preserving hundreds of parks nationwide on the front lines of environmental protection. National Park Week started more than 30 years ago and is now celebrated every April during Earth Month. More than 300,000 people volunteer to help the National Park Service manage the parks. Dave Jacobson started volunteering after his retirement.
Most everybody that I come across here, they're in a good mood and they're having a good day. And the reason they're having a good day is because they're here.
The National Park Service hopes to restore the number of visitors to pre-pandemic levels, but today there are about 15 million fewer visitors a year than before the pandemic. The FAA says it's creating an independent safety review team after a string of narrowly averted runway collisions at major airports. The group is set to meet next month with a goal of recommending safety and reliability improvements. The team consists of former FAA officials and a previous head of the National Transportation Safety Board. It also has piloting and air traffic control experts, as well as a one-time astronaut. Flight delays, cancellations, lost bags, passenger complaints against U.S. airlines more than doubled from 2021 to 2022, hitting nearly 5 times the pre-pandemic numbers from back in 2019. Gloria Pasmino explains what travelers can do to protect themselves.
Airline passenger complaints are skyrocketing, according to data released this month from the Department of Transportation.
It's kind of awful. We've got cancellations, we've got lost baggage, we've got airlines that won't give us refunds.
The top grievance?
About a third of complaints were about the cancellations and delays, which it's notable. Last year, we had 190,000 canceled flights in this country.
It's a turbulent time for the airline industry as it grapples with staffing shortages and schedule cuts.
The operating environment is much more difficult.
At a budget hearing Wednesday for the Federal Aviation Administration, Congressman Mike Quigley echoed the concerns of many flyers.
It's been tough this year listening to constituents during some of the more frustrating times. I had someone say, I don't feel like I'm buying a ticket, I feel like I'm buying a chance.
To protect yourself, experts recommend booking a morning flight. They tend to get canceled less frequently. Also, download your airline's app a few days before you travel.
If you do need to get notifications about whether it's a gate change, a delay, or if you need to rebook, it's much easier to do it through the app than it is to try and call in to an 800 number and rot on hold for hours and hours.
I'm Gloria Pasmino reporting.
And we'll have a final check of your First Warn forecast after a short break.
Get 11% off everything at Menards. Protect vehicles, outdoor equipment, and more with Shelter Logic Storage Solutions. We carry a great selection of easy-to-assemble canopies, shelters, and garages that hold up against the elements. Store your tools, outdoor equipment, and more with Shelter Logic Storage Sheds from Menards. Right now, get a 10 by 12-foot round-top shelter for only $279.99 after 11% rebate. Saving all your outdoor storage needs with help from Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Community is helping each other, making sure your neighbor is taken care of. At Lake Ridge Bank, community is who we are. We take pride in being a community bank, strengthening relationships and investing in the places we come from. It's why we are who we are. Lake Ridge Bank. Go far, go together.
There's nothing better than a great night's sleep on a new mattress from Steinhafels. Tempur-Pedics are designed to make aches and pains a thing of the past by relieving pressure points and supporting the body as no other mattress can. Right now, you can get a Queen Tempur-Pedic mattress with an adjustable base for just $58 per month when you use Steinhafels' special 72-month financing. Plus, get $300 in Steinhafels cash. Relax, it's Steinhafels.
As a veteran of our country's armed services, you have already made the ultimate sacrifice. Through no fault of your own, you may be experiencing hardships, such as the inability to pay rent, utilities, or receive other life-sustaining services. The Veterans Rental Assistance Program was created by and for people living in Wisconsin. No Wisconsin veteran should ever have to face homelessness or lose heat, power, or water again.
Enjoy the simple pleasures of an era gone by.
Help.
Hit the ground running in the most adventurous Honda vehicles yet. Like the Pilot and Passport Trail Sport, or the Ridgeline, made more rugged with better off-road performance, and more capable with different driving modes available to conquer snow, mud, and sand. Adventure on in the Honda for you. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or visit your local Honda dealer today.
We've got a lot of news coming up. America is facing a crime crisis. We spent hours with the D.C. chief of police why it's more expensive to get a parking ticket than to get out of jail after a gun crime here in the nation's capital. Our exclusive reporting tonight on the CBS Evening News.
Julian's back. Final check of the forecast.
Our first warned 10-day forecast is going to be showing some nice weather for the next couple of days. Cooler weather returns for the weekend, but enjoy Thursday and Friday. It's going to be great to get outside and enjoy the rest of our April days. Now, we are going to be seeing some rain showers Saturday, which could impact Crazy Legs, but otherwise, we have more 60s in the back end of the forecast.
All right, ready for a warm-up. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6.